So I finally have it, Sonic MSS Plus in my life. I think these are the best cabinets in the world. Otherwise I wouldn't have them. You know, I had my heart set on in the very beginning of doing Lista was going to be what Obsessed Garage was going to represent, and then I ordered some Lista stuff next door, and I ended up with like literally a small bucket of leftover bolts. It took me 7-8 hours to put together, and they have a 300+ page catalog, and I spent months and months and months to figure out how could I make this work to where I could provide custom solutions, because what Kyle's doing here, what he's working on, is building out a design firm where we do a lot of these and we render them and show people how to install them and all of that stuff. And so, Lista was my original dream, and then I discovered these guys. And I discovered them, I forget who sent them to me, but the thing that was most interesting to me was the tool organization. Now, this MSS Plus setup for us is for our design area. It's not for the garage, mainly because I've already invested $20-something thousand in the MSS cabinets in my garage. But I thought, shoot, if I can have a spot somewhere to put an MSS Plus array, I'm going to do it as soon as I can. And so this is our setup here. And so I want to take you through the cabinets, since we pretty much have an example of almost all the ones they make. And this is the first time I've actually had them all in one spot. So in the US, it's a little confusing because Sonic has a really great looking site for MSS Plus. But the MSS Plus stuff on the site is not black. It's a green. It's like a VW, like dark green, and they have dark green handles. And in the US, what they bring in are black. So this is an actual black, black texture powder coated finish with the aluminum handles. And at first I was really disappointed because I wanted the handles to match because that's how they looked online. But it's really grown on me. I think it looks much more fancy, if you will. I think it looks more industrial and better put together with the aluminum finished handles. You can be the judge of that. We can, for a rather large fee, but we can do custom colors on the handles if you wanted to have them match. But I think that this combination is freaking fantastic. So what you're seeing here, this is the what is this? The 650 millimeter wide cabinet. All the Sonic stuff is about 26.25 inches deep, I think. 25 and a half, and then add your brackets. Yeah, so 20. So you need to be about. Well, I can grab a tape measure here in a second, but you need to be a good 20, almost 30 inches off the wall. This is the 650 millimeter wide cabinet, which for those of us in the US, it's 25.5 inches wide. And all of the Sonic stuff is about 25 deep, 25.5 deep. You will have to space it off the wall a bit. So generally speaking, when you do an MSS Plus array, this is exactly 28.5 inches off the wall. So you need some more depth. So if we're going to do MSS Plus in your garage, your standard 20-foot deep garage, 21-foot deep garage is probably not going to be good enough. Your garage size isn't going to be big enough to be able to do it. So you'd want to go back to MSS, which will sit about 21 inches off the wall. So you're talking 7-8 inches difference. But the fit and finish, the construction, I don't know that they even publish the gauge. It's something like 18 gauge. I'm telling you, gauge doesn't matter. I've seen pretty much every cabinet that exists for the garage. And that's the big selling point for all the cheap crap. Just think about this logically. Think about like pressure washers or car audio amplifiers. They're always publishing these crappy specs, and yet the fanciest, most expensive stuff always has the least amount of power on an amplifier, because they're giving you a true power rating, a real rating, because the wattage doesn't matter. It's the overall performance. Same thing with pressure washers. All these companies are publishing 2,000 psi and 2 gallons a minute, which is nonsense. We've tested it. And so I'm asking you, it's hard for you to see these in person unless you get on a plane and come look at them. them, which you might want to do if you're going to spend this much money on cabinets. But the gauge, I'm telling you, doesn't matter. So just take that out of the comparison criteria that you're using when you're looking at cabinets. And unfortunately, you're going to have to take a flyer on them and take a gamble, because you're probably not going to be able to see them unless you have a buddy that lives somewhere nearby. Or again, if you're going to buy 30, 40,000 worth of cabinets, get on a plane, spend a few $100 and show up here. So a couple of things on all of the MSS Plus stuff. On all the things with a door, they are soft close. They all have, almost all of the Sonic cabinets have a really sophisticated programmable locking mechanism. They don't come with a key. You don't need the key. We can get a master key done for you, because these are all combinations set up, and they all come with an instruction manual for you to set the combination. I've never once locked a cabinet that I've owned. I almost wish I could buy them without a stupid lock. But they do come with pretty much the nicest lock I've seen on any cabinet setup. These are made in Taiwan, but they're engineered in, where's that? I think they're engineered in the Netherlands, is where Sonic's headquartered. These all come with all of their cabinet shelves. They come with your basic crappy, little foam-backed little protector, which I'm ambivalent on. I normally end up just leaving it there. What I do in a lot of cabinets is I'll cut some Swiss tracks, and so that way if you're putting some jack stands or something in the cabinet, both this is the 650 and the 965 millimeter, which is like roughly 36 inches wide. The top shelf is welded, and then all the other shelves are adjustable. And they have a pretty ingenious little system for mounting. If you take a look at how they do it. I know it's dark in here. We haven't gotten our lights yet. But they have a really awesome way of the shelf mounting, where it's a little circle type device, or a little whatever you want to call this thing, that slides into a keyhole, and then there's a half moon or half circle on the shelf, and so it's a really sturdy, very easy to install setup. I really think it's one of the best systems I've seen on any cabinet, and how they handled the shelving. You do have some, this is I guess for like service manuals or something. Remember, these are professional grade. They're making these for dealerships, specifically European dealerships. So they're making these things for aircraft carriers and fancy high-end professional areas that generally have the budget for this, and we're applying it to the garage. And we've sold, I don't know, $1 million of something like that, and growing, because of the fit and finish of these is like no other cabinet, I'm telling you. All the corners are square, they're welded, they come pre-assembled, they're pretty freaking fantastic. I don't mean to pitch you, but they're freaking incredible. So this is an example of their 6th drawer. The bottom drawer is massive. So the bottom drawer on these guys is pretty freaking stout. You're talking about depth 9 inches deep, and then you have 2 medium-sized drawers. These are all ventilated because you can do. There's an example of one of the power strips that you can order. And so the bottom drawer on all of the cabinets, the bottom drawers are vented just to make sure that you don't end up with issues of heat. So they set it up that way, and then all of our top drawers are a pretty typical 2 inches deep. 2 inches deep, and the internal dimension is this is a 720 millimeter wide cabinet, is 23 3/4 or 22 3/4 wide. Notice all of the drawers come all the way out, so that's a big difference between MSS and MSS Plus. Is the drawers are deeper because the cabinets are deeper. These hold a XD sized tool array for their foam inserts. But these are They're not Austrian glides. I actually don't love the Austrian glides that some like Rousseau and Lista uses. We're not putting, brake rotors in the drawer. These hold some 200-ish pounds. The bottom drawers will hold, 350-ish. I can stand in the drawer and not have an issue. But again, I don't think you want to load a cabinet up that much. I guess you could if you wanted to. Any grouping of tools, even 3/4 inch stuff, you're gonna have a hard time reaching those weight limits unless you were doing like 3/4 inch impact or 1 inch impact sockets or something like that. And then you would probably use one of the bottom drawers. So these are all assembled, and they're assembled from the inside toward the back. And so we set this cabinet array up. A lot of times what you have to do is your cabinets is you have to pull it off the wall, screw it together, and then try to get enough humans to push it back. With these, all of our wire pipes that hold the cabinet array together, the wire pipes are actually screwed through the cabinet. So you take the drawers out, and then in the corners, top and bottom, you have a 6mm, I guess it's a cap head, hex type screw or bolt that bolts the back together. And then we chose to do on this array, we did the lowered sections instead of doing the full backing. I forget what they call these little things, but you can run. They're all set up to run wires through, and we've done it and set it up to where. Actually, we're using this as a desk, but this bridge here is designed to hold a rolling cabinet, and so you can get a rolling 800. This is a 890mm wide section where you can get a rolling toolbox, and then it would house it or hold it, or I guess you could station it in the cabinet array. And then, of course, we've done our custom tops. The corner cabinet is massive. And the corner cabinet goes and utilizes the entire corner, and they're pretty smart about how they'd set up the doors, because corners tend to be difficult to get in and out of. But the way that they set up the hinges on the drawers, doors, they allow you to open it past the normal 90 degrees, so you can get in and you can physically, like Kyle's actually climbed all the way in there. You have 2 shelves and of course the bottom, but you could fit an insane amount of stuff in the corner cabinet. If you have a corner area, this thing, notice the soft close, this thing can hold probably everything that your cabinet array has now. You could probably fit in this cabinet. We did some 360s. It's nice that they have these 360mm wide cabinets for areas where because these aren't custom, you're buying from a prefabbed array or a set or a grouping of cabinets. Having a 360, and they make hose reel cabinets that will hold a hose reel. They make a 360 that holds a lift controller. Having this has afforded us the ability to fit an extra bit of cabinet depth or size that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to fit because of the dimension of the wall and the way that the corner cabinet is set up. And so these 360s are a nice addition, and you can see you can actually fit quite a bit of stuff in there. Remember, it's 20-something inches deep, and so you can fit a decent chunk of stuff in there. Now, we're not going to use it like you would in your garage, but I mean that's 23 inches deep on our 14-inch wide cabinet. But that's pretty cool. We have another 720 and another 726 drawer. They do make a 3-drawer, which I'll show you in a minute. We have some of the 3-drawer setups, which are really cool for certain applications. But this guy here, this is my favorite cabinet on the planet. This is the 1540mm. This is all one cabinet. It has a 720 and an 890 setup. But look at this drawer. This drawer is insane. So this is for your large impact or large torque wrenches and things that are too big to fit in a normal drawer. But if you can squeeze one of these in your garage, this is the dream. This thing is freaking incredible. I love this. I most certainly, when I build my house, this is getting at least one of these, if not 2 or 3 of these 1540s. It's really pretty incredible. And all of these, I should mention, all of these are mounted. You mount them on the ground. And so that does make install quite a bit easier. You don't have to set up the walls or brace the walls or try to mount to concrete. It does end up being a little deeper because you're mounting it to get baseboards and things like that. You may want to eliminate so you can push it up close to the wall. But having it mount on the ground is a nice feature. A little easier to level them, and also gives you the ability to skip having to spend a lot more money to get the wall set up. Here's our recycling bin. This thing is freaking cool. And so you have 2 large, we actually put a garbage can inside the garbage can for now. We're actually going to be doing foam and tool grid and gridding out all of these drawers for the guys as they set up their workstations. But this is freaking cool. This is expensive real estate, having a couple $1,000 cabinet but as a garbage can, and it takes up that much space. But if you're wanting a garbage can, it doesn't get much cooler than that thing. It's freaking incredible. So let's go to the back room, and I'll show you what some of the other cabinets look like. I do have some in my photography studio as well. Let me show you this setup. This is something Kyle came up with, where we have 2 360s next to each other. And then we left a gap, and then did the countertop overhang, because we're likely going to have some stools here if we're having a collaborative meeting or something like that, or if we have a customer here, we're laying out plans on our table, and then we're going to have a large display in the corner there where we can show the garage designs that we're rendering and putting together. But this is another idea. You could put 2 360s together, even though they're not open in the middle. This is another thing you could consider doing. Again, the 360s are a nice size because they afford you the ability to fit an extra cabinet in areas that you may otherwise not have been able to fit. So this is more typical just for shipping purposes, and I wanted to see how it would look. We did a seam here, but we can do these. These are not Sonic tops. These are custom tops from a company called Blue Tree that we can order for you in whatever custom size you need. I wanted to see if we could make a transition and make it look pretty, and we couldn't get one long enough to ship reasonably, so I had them cut this in half. But in a perfect world, you would do a single countertop, which you can't order. The Sonic tops are generally, they have specific sizes for them. And so us working with Blue Tree and getting custom tops is, I think, worth, especially if you're going to spend as much money as these cabinets cost. But here's an example of this. Is a 890 millimeter wide, just regular base cabinet, or base doored 2-door cabinet, where you can fit a massive amount of stuff in there. And then if you were going to set it up in your garage and you wanted an upper, this is an 890 upper, and this is the back piece. So you have, instead of having the shorter wire pipes like what we showed out in a design area, this particular array, we decided to do uppers so we could fit. This is some of the product photos that we're staging, and so having uppers here, all our camera equipment's going to go in here. It just makes sense. And then we have our, you can order all the cabinets, uppers and lowers, you can order them with a charging, whatever you call that, the power strip. So that is something you can do, and notice it's fixed in position. And then all the cabinets have wire chases, both the wire pipes in the back and underneath the cabinets, as well as through the cabinets. So what I have here is our under cabinet lighting system. This is a 5,000 Kelvin OG under cabinet lighting, which is, as you can see, does a pretty good job of getting all the way to the front of a 28-inch deep cabinet setup. So all of the uppers have soft open struts, and notice I'm 6'2", and notice the height of this. I mean, I have another almost 6 or 8 inches of headroom. And so you do have adjustable shelves, just like I showed you on the the closets. So all the shelves, you can adjust the height, many positions. But these uppers are freaking insane how much crap you can fit in them. It's pretty awesome. And then because of the depth of the cabinet, I would have to, really lean forward to hit my head. So I've got plenty of working space to work on whatever I'm playing with. And then this is a newer cabinet that they brought to the U.S. So this is a 3-drawer, and you can see these are double deep, 10-inch deep drawers. And you can order these with power as well. So you notice that's what the power strip, two USB connections and 4 regular 15 amp plugs. All of the lower cabinets you can choose to do this, and they have a pretty ingenious little system in the back to where the power cord folds up inside of a metal arm, and so you never have issues with the power cord getting hung up. And then you have your normal locking adjustment as well. So we did 3 of those, and these are 720 millimeters wide, and then they make a 720 millimeter wide matching upper. All of this stuff is not priced on our site. Sonic price protects these, and they don't allow anybody to sell these online, pricing wise. So you need to work with Kyle at obsessedgarage.com and his team to design these. But it's worth your time to work with a designer so they can make sure you're getting the right setup, make sure you're getting all the right wire pipes and back pieces. It gets kind of confusing when you're figuring out how to make this stuff work. Let me show you one more little setup, and then we'll wrap this up. One last little idea to show you here. This is a 6-drawer, 890 millimeter wide. And then we have another 360. So I'm going to actually set this up as my desk here in the garage. I haven't leveled the feet yet, but just the amount of stuff you can fit in a drawer like this. We're going to have a whole series on how to drawer organize using Tool Grid, as well as the Sonic foam systems. And also we'll probably be doing some Kaizen foam where you can self-cut. But this is what the 890 lower looks like. Just the sheer size and scale of a cabinet like this. If you try to pick something like this up, you'll know. If you ever get one of these, if you're fortunate enough to get an array of these cabinets, you'll know that the money was well spent. So the idea of getting MSS Plus in your garage, I think, is the dream. I mean, this is the Ferrari or Porsche. I think that this is above Porsche. This is the Ferrari of cabinet arrays. So that's a quick tour of the MSS Plus stuff that I have to give you an idea of what they look like, what the drawers look like, what each type of cabinet looks like. They have a few more cabinets that we didn't show you here today, but go to obsessedgarage.com. We have it all laid out. But the best thing you can do is go to the Obsessed Garage and click on the design page, fill out the contact form, and Kyle will get with you and sit with you personally. Just know that the cabinets you're seeing here, I mean, we're $25,000, $30,000 worth of cabinets. These aren't cheap. This is a once in a lifetime purchase. This is something that is clearly, I wish it was for everyone. It's not. We have some other like Sabre cabinets or even MSS cabinets, which are quite a bit less expensive than these. These, I think, are, they're priced the way they're priced for a reason, because they are, I think, best in class. So we certainly haven't had anybody disappointed that's gotten their hands on an MSS Plus array. I will tell you, generally, depending on when you're watching this video, I mean, you need to plan ahead. Depending on what time of year and when containers are coming in. Oftentimes you have 2, 3, sometimes 4-month wait on some cabinets. So just keep that in mind when you're planning. But hit us up. We'd be happy to help you lay it out, draw it out so you can see what it looks like in your garage. And we'll take you on a walkthrough 3-dimensionally, and then get these shipped out to you. So if you have any questions personally, you can always hit me up to matt@obsessedgarage.com. So I think it's appropriate to say, stay tuned for more crazy. These cabinets are the best. I freaking love them, I'm telling you. They're incredible. And anybody who's fortunate enough to get them, I congratulate you. So thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and as always, stay tuned for more crazy. See you in the next one.